Well, take your money if that's how you're gonna be about it, but I don't know why you want to be like that when we're getting tired. That's gonna be the intro of the show.
No, no, no. The Power Stone.
Phil, better play waiter. Go out there and tell them that we're going to buy them dinner $2 ahead of regulations. Make out a list, send for it now. Keep it simple. Paper plates, lots of napkins. Marcy, get Phil a pencil and pad.
Brett Calhoun will do. So wing it.
You're listening to League Podcast, the League Do-Over series. Part 1, The Thomas Crown Affair, 1968. And I'm Matt Dursin.
I'm John Hunt.
Police Deputy Detective Clay and Ferno here. Boston Division.
That's right.
That was like way longer than the guy's name in the movie.
Was it Malone? Was the guy's name? Anyways, yeah, we're starting a new thing. We always like to be on the cutting edge here at the League of Ordinary Gentlemen. We want to do a little compare and contrast of some remakes that we might like or not like. We'll find out. But
yes,
interesting remakes. And we're going to start off with the Thomas Crown Affair. Of course, the first one with Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway was in 1968. And there was a remake in 1999 starring James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan, and Rene Russo.
And I just found out that they're doing a third remake with Michael B. Jordan.
No shit. All right.
Amazon
Yeah,
MGM.
I saw that too, yeah.
How about that? Well, there we go. So, yeah, we're going to just talk about the original, and then we're going to do another episode where we talk about the remake, and then we're going to compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And contrast.
Sounds fun. Good idea, John.
Yeah.
Thank you. Once in a while, I hit upon a good idea.
I feel like all your ideas, at least for us, all of our good ideas are your ideas.
Well, thank you. I try. That's what I bring to the podcast. I'm an idea man.
Just you're an idea man, yeah.
And,
no spoilers, and it can wait for the production meeting. But I picked the next one. I think that means Dursin, you have to pick one.
Oh, I got a list.
Oh, nice. Of course you do.
Yeah, I added a few to our ideas Google Doc. So, but anyways, yeah, Thomas Crown Affair. So apparently, I don't know if this is true, but some people seem to think it is reported that this is Steve McQueen's favorite movie that he did. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Steve McQueen movies, but I'm going to say this isn't my favorite that he's done.
Well, go back and listen to our Bullet episode from way back in the archives. That was a good one.
I wore a very Bullet-inspired outfit out to a schmancy, fancy dinner. Not that fancy, because I couldn't just wear what he was wearing if it was that fancy, but fancy enough. Bullet-inspired, turtleneck, tweed jacket, kind of. If I had a pipe and some patches on my elbows, I could have also been confused for a college teacher at a
nice
community college teacher.
Oh no.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, substitute teacher. Yes, one of the creepy ones. The sunglasses that Steve McQueen wore in this movie, they set the trends, and they brought them back in part of the Steve McQueen collection. Apparently, the tortoiseshell 714 model of
Persols.
Persols. Yes.
I have a pair of them, just not in the tortoiseshell.
Oh, interesting.
They're nice. They're nice.
Isn't that cute?
You gotta be able to. You gotta have a certain to carry the tortoiseshell. I don't think I can.
Yeah, yeah. I like that style of glasses. I think looks better with the black frames. Poisonly, but
Steve McQueen does what he wants.
yeah, he's the man. He can do what he wants.
Oh, and he laughs and he laughs and he
Well,
laughs.
this is
He does
Mrs.
laugh in
Elder.
this one.
Mrs. Elder did not like his laugh. She
I
was
kind of
not.
didn't like it either. I
She
didn't
was
care
not a
for
fan
it.
of this movie. Yeah, she
Not
felt
my
it was
favorite.
a little. Yeah, it wasn't her favorite. She felt it was a little too forced, a little too acted.
Interesting. Yeah, a little more. This was Norman Jewison.
Yeah.
What's the?
He's got quite a resume in terms of movies that he has directed.
Moonstruck.
Yeah, Moonstruck and Fiddler on the Roof and In the Heat of the Night. And
Nice.
others I can't think of off the top of my head.
All right. Well, yeah, he's quite
The
prolific.
Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Jesus Christ Superstar, Rollerball. Yeah, see, now I'm looking at his page here.
Just looking at his IMDb page. And
Those are
Alan Trustman is the writer. Apparently, he worked at a bank and spent
so he
some of
would
his
know.
spent some of his downtime thinking, how would I rob this place?
That's the kind of employee you want working for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
that's
was
how.
saying like there's lots of downtime here. He also wrote Bullet.
Oh, very well.
That.
For people who may only be familiar with the Pierce Brosnan one, or maybe not familiar with either one of them, Thomas Crown is a thief, and he sort of runs afoul of a insurance investigator, in this instance played by Faye Dunaway, and they sort of strike up a bit of a relationship, and that's about it. Let's be honest.
I remember when the 1999 version came out, and I was reading reviews. It was a positive review of that one, and then it started kind of like bad mouthing the original, where they're like, "Whereas the original, just devolves into him driving around on a dune buggy for an hour," and I was like, "Yeah, that's not wrong too." So,
That kind of happens, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there on final thoughts and stuff, but I will say this: like stylistically, in my wheelhouse of the split views and stuff.
yeah, that was neat. Yeah.
What I'm used to actually is everything that was inspired by this movie that was way better.
Yeah.
Like
You mean
the sabotage video for the Beastie Boys. You know what I mean? Or like, because we've seen that like trick, and maybe he was the first to do it and like innovative and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm more used to, I guess, more like on the pacing side, and also like a heist, like Ocean's 11 heist movies. I'm kind of
remade.
like,
I don't want to do that one. We started to watch that a month ago. Slow as fuck. The original is.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the original.
I never have either. Yeah.
But what I mean to say is, without skipping way forward as the final thoughts, is just that like I expected there to be more complexity to the heist part, and I expected a little bit more like balls to the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's my
I think so,
preliminary
too.
thoughts.
and I don't want to skip ahead to our compare and contrast part, but there are things that this movie does that the remake takes and runs with, where here it's like they introduce this character, the cop, and he's just like a cop, but in the remake he's got a personality, and they have they have interactions that aren't just kind of just what would dull, it's very just very vanilla, just plain, like it's just a okay, now he stole this thing and around that, and then in the other one there's like actual, like it feels a little more natural. I will say this, Mrs. Elder said the best part of the movie was Faye Dunaway's outfits, with the exception of the outfit she wears during the erotic chess scene, because that outfit just makes her boobs look like they're hanging down to her knees. But otherwise, like, Faye Dunaway in 1968.
Yeah. No, I have nothing bad to say about that at all.
She's no Dana Delaney. I mean, but but to me, the way I think of Faye Dunaway is like she's so beautiful that I'm not really attracted to her. Does that make any sense? Like, she's beautiful.
So out of your league or what?
Yeah, it's like way. I almost think the same of like Margot Robbie. Like she's like so gorgeous that I just don't even look at her.
I get what you're saying, because sometimes beautiful people are like sort of look cookie cut, almost like everybody that appears on the CW network all looks the same. They're all fantastically attractive. But if you saw them all walking down the street, you'd be like, oh, a bunch of attractive people. I have no idea who they are. They all look the same.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's nothing really special about them when they're all attractive. Yeah.
Well, Stephen Amell, if you know what I mean.
I don't think he's on the CW anymore.
No, he's not. Arrow's canceled after 7 seasons. When are we doing our Arrow episode? Just kidding.
I guess when you pick one, I don't know.
Just kidding.
I do want to say this, and this sort of maybe did inform my viewing of the movie. John, you did text us and recommend we watch it on 1.5 speed.
That's because I was watching Mrs. Elder, which just kept complaining about how slow it was. And I was like, yeah, there is like just a lot of dead air.
It's a lot of talking. Like, thanks for talking.
I couldn't figure out how to watch it on 1.5 speed on my TV, but I could certainly on my phone.
I just watched the whole thing.
I don't
really believe in
you really did. We did not do that, but yeah, it was just parts of the movie are a bit of a slog, because it really does feel a little more style over substance, and things are a little underdeveloped, undercooked. I'm giving final thoughts right now. We should get into the plot.
Let's get into the movie before we ruin the whole thing.
I want to say,
obviously they hate this movie. Why am I going to listen?
Yeah, I don't hate this movie. I have some issues with it.
I think we're probably all gonna land on our final thoughts, like in agreement. Might have different letter grades, but yeah, I mean, it's not like I hate this movie, but after watching Bullet, I was expecting a little more.
All right, well, here we go. The first thing I noticed, so we get the MGM, the old lion, which I don't think they have anymore. Do they do that?
They've had like a computer generated lion now, or like zooms in on him or zooms out. I can't remember. Everything is.
I really just want to say, hey, take off.
Just strange brew. Not doing anything, eh? It's like
interesting. Interesting little knowledge drop on it, since we're starting with the lion. This was the first United Artists movie with that modern logo that we all recognize.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We have a kind of not a great credit song, which the
music in this is really, really bad. All right, it just is.
It won a fucking Oscar. That song.
It did. This guy, is it Michel Legrand or Michael Legrand? He also did the score for Never Say Never Again, which is also one of the worst scores I've ever heard.
Wow. So
don't like it.
This guy is sort of he's in a hotel hallway. I actually remember this song being kind of fun, although I couldn't tell you how it went or anything. But I was just like, oh, this music is fun. He knocks on a door. He's kind of like he's kind of looking around, or something. He doesn't want anyone to, he's being a little conspicuous, whatever. And he goes in and it's bright light shining in his face. And there's a guy behind the lights, and he says, all right, sit down. And so he's basically hiring him to be the driver on this job. He gives him a bunch of cash. You're going to pay him $50,000 to do the drive.
Johnny Cash.
You in more green too? And he tells him to buy a station wagon with the wood paneling. It's like, wow, that
like
brings
the
me back.
old school, yeah. My first car.
Yeah, I guess this is where we get like, well, Dr. Claw kind of thing, where he's like,
Yeah.
he's all like in silhouette, you know? He's like, who is it? Well, obviously it's Thomas Crown. Like,
Right.
there's no mystery to that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's supposed to be a mystery to all the guys he hires because they don't know him. They're not supposed to know him, and they're not supposed to know each other. So,
right.
In a,
Right.
in a modern
that's a good
movie,
idea.
they would definitely have him in a darker silhouette, change his voice and stuff.
oh yeah.
Nobody knows the man behind the curtain.
So then we get our first sort of split screen panel box thing where he's, there's a bunch of guys traveling and he's, hired all of them. It's sort of like planes, trains, and automobiles. They're going in all sorts of different modes. One of them being Yaphet Kotto.
Hi, Mosley.
Yes, Mosley from Midnight Run. So I always liked him. Anyway, yeah, so then we go to this boardroom. This guy's like, I got a Tommy Crown property. And then like, what do you think of that? And Thomas Crown is there, Steve McQueen, and he says, you're overpaid.
I did quite like that quote.
Yeah.
It was like Mad Men.
Yeah. Kind of was.
Get ready to hear something similar in the remake.
So yeah, he's doing business stuff, and he calls this guy at the airport, and he says, all clear. There's all these guys. They're all the guys. They're near phones. Yaphet Kotto was all nervous because he says his was out of order. And he's like, it's all right. I know all the numbers. Yeah. They all get the call. Go. And again, they do the separate window thing. The driver guy is there in his station wagon with the wood paneling. And then they show like there's a lot of like walking and like so these two guys in an elevator. Yeah. And they pull guns on the people. Or no, there's one guy in the elevator. The door opens, another guy with a gun comes in and whatever. So they're robbing this bank.
They give each other like little head nods, kind of like, hey, how's it going? Kind of thing. Good to meet you. Well, thanks for talking.
Thanks for talking.
Yeah, but like they don't know each other, as we said. They just know that they're the robbers. It's almost like Dark Knight or something, they're all wearing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want you to do it because I don't do it as good as you. The bus driver line.
Oh, I see. No. I kill the bus driver. Yeah, so there's a security guy, another guy pulls a gun on him. It's all very, if you've seen a robbery scene, like maybe Baby Driver even or something like that, which is a really fun movie. I love that movie, but all these sort of bank robbery scenes, they probably all borrowed from this, but there's the similarities.
So many things borrow from this, but the things that borrow from it, I think are way better.
Are better. So this is the thing that I find this kind of staggering. So apparently the scene was filmed at a bank and they didn't tell the customers.
What?
Oh, wow.
They had like hidden cameras and they didn't tell the customers that they were filming a robbery. So they all thought that it was like something was going on. Like,
wow, that's
nuts. So none of them like said anything though, or tried to stop them or anything.
I wouldn't try to stop anyone if they were robbing.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, they all get down there. One guy gets shot in the leg, and they throw these like smoke bombs. Yeah.
There's a shot later in the movie when they roll the smoke bomb down the hall and the camera follows it. I was like, that's a great shot. Now it would be done like with CG, like in the Edward Norton Hulk. There was like a shot that was like that. Maybe it was inspired by this, but the fact that it was practical, I was like, that looks so cool. Much fun.
Yeah, it is.
That's what stood out to me in the movie was that one shot.
Well, I like how casually, like they have like bags of money and like they sort of casually take them down, put them in the back of the station wagon. The guy sort of just drives off, and then everybody else just kind of walks away.
Yeah, he gets stuck in traffic.
Yeah, there's like a big truck that spilled like some boxes out of the back, and he's all like, and the cop just comes and says, "Okay,
I like
move
the
along."
guy. He's trying to pull down the the back of the door on the truck, and it's
The
getting stuck
Eggman.
on one of the boxes that's sticking out slightly. I was like, oh, that would be me if I was like, I gotta get this thing closed and get out of the way. I'm causing all this problem.
I like we were talking about in Arsenic Old Lace the old titles, but I also have a weird fetish for hand painted signs, and like that one was awesome because he pulled it down and said the Eggman.
The Eggman. I thought it was great. So the guy in his station wagon, he takes the pike, like actually legitimate the Matt Pike.
Yeah, no, this is filmed.
Well, if you're trying to get away, you're not going to take the pike. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I have a whole list of all the locations. That bank was in Beverly.
Nice.
There was the second robbery filmed on Congress Street. I think that bank is now a place where I went and had lunch with my rich uncle one day.
Wow.
And
All
I was
right.
like, oh wait, I think I was sitting right over there. And those toll booths on the Mass Pike were only taken down. It's the Alston Brighton exit close to where we visit our friends in North Dakota that was taken down in 2016.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, that was not that long ago. Yeah, so he drives to the cemetery and he takes the bags out, puts them in a trash can.
Mount
He has like
Auburn
a
Cemetery.
Oh, no shit. No,
Yeah.
cemetery.
Right over in
Wow.
Watertown, North Dakota.
Yeah, I can walk. Well, it's technically Cambridge, I think, or most of it. It's huge for those not around here. It is.
Well, we'll do a whole
vast.
Thomas Crown walking tour when I come back to visit Massachusetts.
Yeah, that sounds.
We'll see all the locations.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. We'll go up to Beverly and Rupp Bank.
Yeah, why
And
not?
then-
I mean, we know how to do it now. We've watched the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cameras won't get us.
How does it work? I mean, not this is a little side. I was thinking, like, what do you do with money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you rob a bank, is it different? You know what I mean? Like, do banks even have money? You know what I mean? Like,
They have to have some.
anymore? I guess. But like,
They
you
have
can't-
some, but they don't have nearly as much as they would have had back then.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, the guy drives away and Thomas Crown drives right up. Takes the it's funny, he's got like a wreath of flowers. But he's like playing the part. This bell tolls and he grabs the bags and he's out. But it's kind of funny, like they have the split screen thing, and each time the bell tolls, it like one of them disappears because they're all leaving. That's kind of fun. That's cool.
I like that. I like that.
It's also kind of something they would have taught you in film school or cinematography school kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
they do these
Some
kind of
professor explain it.
editing tricks and stuff in the Monkeys movie that came out the same year ahead. It's all it's like
Oh.
split screen and stuff fills up. the
Oh,
screen.
they do a lot of stuff in that.
I thought that was 69. Am I not correct?
You are incorrect.
Oh, you're right, because we interviewed Mickey Dolenz.
You should know that.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
50 years.
Yep.
That's all you
All
had
right,
to say.
so
25 minutes later, he stopped talking.
I know. It went on and on. It was great. Yeah. So he goes home. He sends his butler home. It's like Alfred. He's like, "Oh, may I make you a sandwich, sir?" He tells him to go. He doesn't need anything. He lights a cigar. He pours a drink out of a very nice decanter. And he laughs and laughs.
I like
I love
the
it.
gigantic water. It's like a vase almost. He has chilling
Yeah.
the water for his drink.
Oh, I thought
but
that
it
was
looks like a
vodka or
brandy.
something.
No, that's like the brandy snifter for the water for his whiskey or something.
Right.
That keeps it
I
cold.
guess.
But it's gigantic. That thing is like
It
weird.
is.
And today with foodborne illness, there was no cover on it, no saran wrap on it. Just
Probably having some stomach issues later on.
Yeah, he might. Yeah. I don't know. We talked about the laughing and how it seems fake or whatever, but he does. I do kind of like that he kicks his feet like a little kid or something. He's like kicking his feet as he laughs.
it's
Anyway,
a
so
signature laugh. I mean, it's not like
yeah,
it's not something that I like the way it sounds, but it is he's consistent. He does the same laugh all through the whole movie.
Yeah. When we cut back to like the cops, they're talking about the robbery. Then we cut back to Tom laughing, Thomas Crown laughing. The cops, they're taking statements about everybody. I mean, from everybody, all the witnesses.
This is a funny line because one of the cops is like, "Okay, we're gonna get dinner for everybody. Get a lot of paper plates, get a lot of napkins." And then the guy goes around. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Okay, what do you want?" "Chicken salad on white." And then he asks the next lady, like, "Oh, what do you want?" She's like, "To get out of here."
I know. It's pretty funny. Like, they're just shutting the chaos, I guess, or whatever. Meanwhile, Thomas Crown calls a woman. He says, "We're going to Joseph's. Like, they meet me at Joseph's."
I'm starved.
Yeah.
So am I. For what?
Joseph's. They're going to Joseph's. Was that a location? I don't know if that was a restaurant.
It wasn't, but I will say that, yeah, another bank. Joseph A. Bank.
Very good.
Gonna get a new suit, but later on, and gonna skip for a knowledge drop.
Sure.
Anthony's Pier 4. I don't know if you guys ever went there when you were a kid, but
I did.
It was right. It was in the seaport, right?
Yeah.
That's where my family would go for very, very fancy dinners. I mean, I was there maybe once or twice, but there's a scene.
Yeah, I went there
out there
for my graduation. I think that was the only time. I might have gone there twice, but one of them was my graduation. So, yeah. Yeah, so the driver gets stopped by the cops, and he's like, "Oh, they're ladies' things." Like they like open the back, and he's got like a bag, and they're like, "What's in the bag?" And they're all just cosmetics, but he's like, "Oh, they're ladies' things." He's all nervous, whatever. They let him go. They're talking to the press or whatever, and then meanwhile, Thomas, he goes to Geneva. He's like it's like the whole like. You always saw this in movies back then. Business or pleasure? It's business. It's always business. No one's ever like, "Oh man, I'm going to have a good time." And
mankind was my business.
And everybody's smoking, and the French, security guards like, "Oh, come over here, I
was thinking about how it wasn't that long ago that smoking sections were still in restaurants and buildings and stuff.
It was like the 90s.
Even the 2000s, they still had smoking sections in certain restaurants and stuff. And I'm glad they don't anymore because it didn't really seem to matter. You want the smoking or non-smoking? You're like, well, it doesn't matter because all that smoke just keeps coming over here anyway.
Yeah, right. There is a funny line here. The cops they basically have nothing. And that's what he says. Like Malone, the cop, he goes, "A big nothing." He says, we're Boston's finest. We're dummies. We're dummies.
Here is
weird
the
weird dummies.
This is wrong. I'm gonna come back to the money and what it would be worth now, because it was like $2 million.
Yeah, it was like 2 million, 2.6 or something.
Yeah, it's like
you can see like
I have it right here. It's 17.8 million in 2023 money.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, he's depositing all that money in a Swiss bank account, and then they're all like, "Oh," and he just says, "Enjoy my money." So, that was pretty funny.
He's like,
so they're talking to this
business because I guess Malone, the cop says that Thomas Crown is not like an investor, but he plays the markets by how much the dollar is worth on the franc. So he's like buying money to like make money off of the conversion and stuff. That's what he does. That's how he became so rich.
Yeah. Well, wasn't that always a thing about your Swiss bank account? And like that was always kind of.
Well, yeah, because the Swiss don't disclose who has the account, and they don't ask questions and stuff, and that's why people always do that kind of shit. If I was a criminal, I would do the same thing.
Sure.
Even if you had lots of money that you got legitimately lettering and coloring comic books, you could put in a Swiss bank account. They couldn't tax it in the U.S.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to give that a try. With all this money making comics.
All the money you're making comics, lettering. So the cop is talking to an insurance guy, and they're like, "Oh, we got to bring in an expert." And they bring in. He says, "You're not gonna like her."
Yeah, because he thought he said sexpert, and that's why they got a sex lady.
Why are you're not gonna like her? Why would I not like a sexpert? What's the matter with you? Because he's all business, I'll tell you that. Malone does not fuck around, that's for sure. As you say.
Yeah, as you see, yeah, he's written as such like a straight lace character. That's why I think I'm gonna the Dennis Leary character is more interesting as the cop.
Oh no, absolutely. I remember. I always kind of thought we should do it anyway. Like a side note, like maybe part of like the Pierce Brosnan Bond thing, like because he's kind of playing a bad guy, James Bond. Yeah,
he's basically playing evil Bond.
Yeah, so I always kind of wanted to find a way to work that movie in.
Well, here we go.
Here we go. I do like this line. Faye Dunaway meets Malone, and and then she says, "Isn't he though?" I don't know whether I just think it's funny the way she says. But I think it's kind of like she's not taking him very seriously. She's just like, "Oh, what a cutie," or something like that. Isn't he though? Anyways, Thomas Crown is out golfing. He hits out of the bunker, and he hits a great shot, almost right into the hole. And then he bets the guy like $1,000 or something. I think, right, that he can't do it again. And he doesn't, and then they bet in the putt, and he can't. Hey, we'll try again. And
he says something along the lines of, "What else is there to do on a Sunday?"
Yeah.
It's funny because the guy he's like losing all this money to is getting mad at him for wasting his money on these bets. It's fun. It's like a weird dynamic. He's like, "Well, you're crazy. You're crazy with that bet. Double or nothing."
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
I'll take your money if that's how you're gonna be about it. But I don't know why you want to be like that when we're getting tired of. That's going to be the intro of the show.
This is what happens when I go golfing. I'll bet you $1,000.
Actually, when we go golfing, we used to bring someone with us who was terrible, and he actually hit the ball behind him somehow. You were there for that one, right?
Yeah. That was spectacular. I've never...
I've never seen...
Okay, this is a whole side thing. He was actually in the golf, like at the high school, there was like a golf
He was on the golf
club.
team?
Yeah, he was like the golf team. Right.
The golf club.
And he could, well, I guess they should call it the golf club, right?
They didn't really have an official team or something. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. They would just play, I guess. Although we had one kid in our neighborhood who was actually quite good. He's also kind of an asshole, but that's beside the point.
I don't even know who. Are you talking about me?
No, you weren't on the golf team.
No.
I thought you knew.
There was this kid that lived across the street from me. What a prick.
There's a guy that lived in your house, John, that I absolutely hated. He looked just like...
Yeah, and it wasn't your dad, so...
I mean, I don't think he's listening. That guy? I'm sure he's not listening, but I'm not going to say his name. That just seems wrong. Vicky, Faye Dunaway, her name is Vicky Anderson. She's in Malone's office, and they're sort of going back and forth. Yes. And then she's kind of like, "What would you do with the money?" And then we cut to Thomas Crown. He's in like a glider, kind of a long
fucking windmill song. The only thing that was cool to me about the glider was I was like curious about it. I was like, how does a glider start to glide? And there's 3 different ways. There's one where they kind of like get sprung up into the air, like they kind of almost like the rubber band and boing.
Like a slingshot.
Yeah, like a slingshot thing. And I was gonna say Dennis the Menace. You got the word, which is slingshot. There's a way where like it's another like plane on a runway just kind of tows it and then it gets its wind, or you can get it like, kind of like they do with like the space shuttle where they like it's attached to a plane and then they drop it. But they don't show the launch. They should have shown the launch in this because they showed the landing.
We got like tickets to do that for our wedding way back when, but
really
we waited too long because they expired in like 4 months, and I was like, oh well, I guess I should have paid a little closer attention to
You got
that.
married in October. It was winter, you know?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
You're
So-
like, I'm saving up for the motor.
But a glider makes me a little nervous because there's no engine. So what happens if something goes wrong? You can't really do much of anything except hope for the best.
Just hope
Which
that
I
you
guess
don't
even if it had an
crash.
engine, yeah, if it has an engine, then it breaks. You're also hoping for the best there too. But my father
Well,
did
what
it
could
a few
Oh,
times.
okay.
He really
Nice.
enjoyed it. So.
I mean, what would go wrong except that you have to land it, right? I mean,
Or you die and crash.
Yeah,
Well,
you have to find.
is there
way
a
to
person with
land
you?
it.
Like, I mean,
It's gotta
Thomas Crown is
yeah.
flying it by himself, but is there?
He's
if
different.
you bought
He's
tickets,
rich.
right?
Yeah.
If you bought tickets, I assume someone would pilot it.
Yeah, hopefully, don't leave me in charge. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done one of these before.
So you're gonna glide. It must be that would be kind of cool though, because you get all of the plane without any engine. You know, like no engine sound.
I'm kind of regretting that we didn't get to do it now.
Yeah, you didn't even use my nice wedding gift that I got you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. They
I'm
sold
glad
it
you
on-
didn't because it sounds fucking dangerous, and especially with climate change and stuff. Now I wouldn't trust being in a fucking glider or a fucking weather balloon or anything like that. Hot
I
air
guess
balloon, nothing. No,
I'm gonna have to return your birthday present now.
Oh,
Just
my
use it
hot
on-
air balloon! You got me around the world in 80 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you a hot air balloon for Florida. Go down to Florida and get it as a.
That comment's gonna
All
age.
right. Anyways, yeah, the woman does ask, why didn't you buy an engine for that thing? And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, shut up, lady.
I don't pay you to talk.
You're my side piece.
Yeah, I mean, she totally is.
She pulls up in
Anyway,
a nice
so-
caddy though.
Yeah,
It's kind of a nice car.
Oh, Faye Dunaway's got a nice car in this movie too. It's
not
like
the station wagon with the wood
One of those
pin.
Italian things.
No, not that.
So yeah, her and Malone they're talking. She actually figures out that it's got to be deposited in Switzerland because of what you said earlier, John. They don't really ask questions; they'll just take your money. Shut up and take my money. Is what
Right.
So then she figures out, like, I'm sure they were just hired anonymously, and then they get this list of people who worked in the bank, and they cross-reference it. They find Thomas Crown. They figure he's someone you might want to talk to. So
Yeah,
that
the
was
way
pretty easy,
the way
to be
the
honest.
way they get to that whole thing, I'm like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, it made sense.
She's really with it, and it's the same thing with like the Renee Russo character in the remake, where she's also sort of one step ahead of the cops.
Yes. Thomas Crown is out at a polo match. Actually, he's playing. He's not at it. I mean, he's at it, but he's not just watching. He's actually playing.
He's participating in the
polo.
whole.
Yes. There's some crazy music going on here.
Polo is crazy because it's just like croquet on horses. It's just such a
It
weird.
is.
It's a weird sport.
It's
And
such
they
a
have
rich guy sport.
they have polo matches not too far from here, and we were thinking about attending one sometime. Well, it's too late now, but probably in the spring.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, I'm with you guys.
Sure.
I'm gonna bring my gigantic Pentax fucking 32 millimeter camera.
Oh yeah, be very
Yeah.
inconspicuous.
Yeah,
But
she is-
also, Steve McQueen learned to play polo just for the scene.
Oh, very good.
He was the Tom Cruise of his day.
I'm kind of surprised that James Bond has never played polo. Has he? In any movie?
No, I mean he rode a horse in Due
Right.
to a Kill, but yeah, I don't think he's played polo.
Yeah, it seems like something he would just know how to do. Like the
Yeah.
bad guy to be like, "Would you care for a match, Mr. Bond?"
Oh, Mr. Bond, I know you're our guest here for the day, and we've only known each other for 10 minutes, but perhaps a little sporting game of polo between the two of us. And it's a Roger Moore Bond because he'd be like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's raising up.
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's play some polo. I fancy a match.
Polo was created by this guy in this year, and there's my knowledge drop for the movie.
Oh, very. All right. Anyways, so yeah, he does notice that she's filming him with her giant Pentax. I mean, she's not trying to be very secretive. I don't think. Yeah, it's very obvious.
No, I think she's trying to be obvious anyway, even if she didn't have the gigantic camera.
Yeah.
She's trying to be noticed by him.
So then they go to this art auction, and Thomas is there, Vicky's there, and he outbids her for this lithograph, they say. He remembers her as the one from who was filming him or whatever. And he gives her the lithograph. He's like, yeah, why don't you take it? It's also for charity. This is a charity auction. It's like, yeah, anything for those kids.
Anything for those little brats.
Anytime they do an auction, though, like in any sort of modern movie, it's like for a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, but this one is just for like $200 or $500.
I wanted to edit in the stuff with Cary Grant from North by Northwest. We get $13.
He's going down, whatever. Yeah. She comes right out and tells him what she does, and she basically tells him that she's after him, and he laughs and laughs.
Just not laugh again.
They have a little bit of a kind of James Bond, a little quippy thing, like back and forth. I'm in insurance. I'm covered.
Yeah.
Well, I'm investigating the heist. You know anything about that?
Yeah, I know about heisting stuff. I'm gonna heist your clothes right off you.
Heist right over here. Heist that dress right up.
So yeah, they are out at the waterfront. Is this when they're at Anthony's? I guess I didn't know that is. They were down in the seaport. It looked like.
Yeah, I think that's so. If that's the scene you're.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, that's they're like kind of talking it over. It's their first date kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think, what does he say? You think you'll get me? And she says, I hope so. And they agree to have dinner tomorrow. Meanwhile, they show Malone. I thought this was kind of a nice touch. They cut to Malone having a burger with his secretary, who is not so attractive.
She also gives a lot of guff all the time, too.
Yeah. And she's like kind of nailing the Boston accent.
I thought you were gonna say she was nailing the boss.
She's nailing the boss too. She's like, well, it's 20,000 20s
and ones,
and then and then this and ones, and that's it.
She's like loves her job. Vicky put an ad in the paper. I guess I didn't quite get what this was about. It's like, oh, did you just come into $50,000 or something? Like, it was kind of weird. I didn't quite get what the ad was about.
The ad says be a fink, which is old timey, be a rat. The ad itself says be a fink, $25,000 reward for information leading to the first robbery.
So this is the driver's wife. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the driver's wife is the one that calls. Yeah, and then
Irwin is his name. Yes.
Yeah, because I just saw him in a movie like a month prior to watching this with Walter Matthau and Goldie Hawn, and he's like this out of work actor, so he's always got like a different girlfriend or something in that movie. He's quite funny in that one, but I kept looking at him going, how do I know this guy? But that's how I knew him. I think the movie was called Cactus.
So I do want to point out, there's nothing really to do with the story of the movie, but he's pushing his kid along on like a bike, like the kid's learning to drive, and there's a horn, ride his bike, and there's a horn on the bike that is exactly the sound that you make.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore because my voice is too deep now, but back then it was.
There you go.
006.
006. 009. 009.
Oh, 009.
Oh, he's teaching his son how to ride.
Out of practice on my Bond numbers. 006 dies in Golden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, she meets up with Malone. She's like, we got a lead on the driver, and she's like, we got the car, and he bought a car and it's got a safe deposit box. And she's like, can we drill the safe deposit box? And he's like, nope. And like they basically can't do anything with any of this information because it's all like against the law, stupid laws. Law. Yeah. Wait, this is great. We cut to Woolworths. You guys remember Woolworths?
That was a staple of the Northeast.
Absolutely.
Apparently, there are still Woolworths in Europe.
Oh shit! That's hilarious.
I think they're everywhere, but I think there are a handful of them still out there.
Wow. Yoyup.
Yoyup.
There were Woolworths around. Irwin is there. They steal the getaway car. So he comes out and he's like, ah. So anyways, there's a kind of a scene that has nothing. I don't know if this is, maybe you guys can. So we cut to Thomas Crown and he's telling his lawyer, Sandy, he's like, I think I might retire. I'll give you power of attorney. You can just spend all the money as you see fit or whatever. Is it because he's kind of feeling the pressure from Vicky, or is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what I got.
Catch you. Yeah.
I was interpreting it as like he's going to tell him what to do with the money sort of remotely, and he's going to go away, but he doesn't want to admit to his lawyer that he stole the money.
Oh, I kind of figured the lawyer knew. Maybe it's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah, maybe it is. A little column A, a little column B.
Because he's like, you have so much money. What do you need your money for? And he's like, I don't know what I do with this.
You're richer than Brett Calhoun.
Brett Calhoun will do.
Brett Calhoun will do.
I'm going to have you give it to Brett Calhoun. Well, Brett Calhoun will do.
If I don't get that money, I'll go to prison.
Go back and listen to our Superman audio comic, The Power Stone.
Please, it was an excellent.
The Power
excellent honor. Sorry, so the driver Irwin and his wife, they got a phone call that says their son has been kidnapped, and if they meet, like this money, they there's ransom and all this stuff and whatever. But so they show up and it was Vicky.
Well, wait, hold on. At Woolworths, the car is stolen. And then there's another like punk, like pre-punk, 1968 street punk, like Fonzie guy. When he realizes that the guy's getting his car stolen, this guy is like trips him and he's like, "Hey, where you going?" He's like an accomplice to the car stealing thing. And I think that when he goes home, he's like, "Oh my God, they like stole the car. They stole the car." And I'm like, oh my God, they stole the car. I think that they stole the car with the kid in it, but that guy is such an idiot. He wasn't even thinking about his kid at all.
Well, yeah, I guess because she's like, where is Jimmy or whatever his name
and she's
is,
like, where's Jimmy?
Yeah.
And then she gets the call and picks it up and is like, oh my God, you need what? You need $5,000 to get the ransom. Yeah. The kid. So yes, you're right. I was just adding a little bit of color.
Oh no, yes,
because I really like the street thug
guy
kid was. Hey, what were you doing? Because he trips him and he kind of like does like a big old pratfall, like but he's like his hat's like stuffed over his head and he's like, it looks really pathetic.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. He's so nervous that like. He thinks this is the getaway, this is the car that I used on the job, like now it's
he doesn't
stolen.
give a shit about his kid. He doesn't remember his terrible. Kid is not there. But also the wife isn't immediately like, where's Jimmy? They're just home freaking out about the car.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't know that he's a robber, right? But she did say we came into some money, but I don't think she knows the extent of it. But anyways, it was all a farce, basically.
Well, she must have
Vicky.
Because she ratted him. She was a fake.
Yeah, I guess she must have known something. I think she knew that he was up to no good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, it was Vicky who stole the car and kidnapped the kid. And she's all like, here you go. Here, you run along now. Like, and here, don't forget your hat. It's like, I mean, she's very nice to the kid, but so now they're
still didn't do something legal there.
Right. No, it's very bad. Even if they were to get Thomas Crown on this, like it would all be inadmissible as evidence, It's like OJ or something. You know what I mean? You can't, it's like whatever. And Malone, when he finds out, he is mad about that. He's like, what? You can't do that. You can't like kidnap a kid.
I like that whole scene because like the head insurance guy is like in the front seat. He's like, you're going to jail. And you'll never see a kid again. And then he's like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. He's like, I just saw you get $5,000 to Goodwill because he had taken the money and like
he
dumped it in one of those
ransom money in the things, those bins. Yeah. So yeah, I mean they have Irwin pretty dead, but he is ill-gotten. Imagine if the cops could just do whatever they wanted like that. Boy.
Well, they weren't the cops. They were the insurance people.
Yeah, I guess some people think. Imagine that. Can you imagine such a thing?
Such
But anyway.
living in a world like that.
See, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City.
Yeah. So, anyways, Thomas gets a call. He's got to go to the police station. Also, apparently, someone ordered wall-to-wall carpeting in his house. First, you think it's kind of random, but it does play in, later. So Irwin is there, and then, but like Vicky and Thomas are kind of just talking. They leave like it's a date.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she was just trying to set up to see like the two of them together,
Yeah. See if he recognized Thomas Crown or whatever, but
yeah,
he didn't because he couldn't see him in that scene. So, and Thomas Crown, he's just too cool for school anyway, so he's not gonna.
Yeah, he's not gonna show his cards or anything.
Yeah.
When he gets introduced to the cop, he's like, "Only if I get to speak with my lawyer." And then Edwin or whatever, what's that the guy's name?
Irwin.
Irwin's like, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah.
Talk to your lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. No.
And then like Thomas Crown leaves and he's like, "Smell you later." And then Irwin's like,
He
said, "Smell you later." No, he didn't say that.
Yeah. And I think she says, "Good night, Irwin, dear." Is that what she says?
Oh yeah, good night. Yeah, say good night, Irwin, dear. Good night, Irwin, dear.
Good night, Irwin, dear.
Look at that, Thomas.
Oh, that's good.
That Tommy, he's just a laugh riot.
He take his feet up and he laughed.
Because,
so he takes her home.
We'll edit in your Lex Luthor laugh over that.
Yeah, speaking of Power Stone. Then he takes her to his house. And it turns out she ordered the carpet. I guess to just kind of figure out where he lived and whatever and all that. But
I thought it was like an excuse to be able to search his house that way too.
Yeah, I guess that was probably which they do in the 99 version. We'll get there. So they're having a little drink. It looks like scotch. I don't know. It's some sort of brown liquor.
Scotch
or it's a brandy.
But we're both quite tasty.
Yeah,
it could be brandy. You're right. Yeah, they play chess, which I'm not gonna lie is a little on the nose.
And it's very on the nose, or more like on the penis, really. If you want to.
I know.
Really,
this is basically.
And every review I was watching about this was like, and this is the most erotic chess game ever committed to film. It took 4 days, or this or that. And I was like, yeah.
Well, they couldn't really show a lot of sex back then,
I don't know. It's late 60s. They got nudity in movies at that point.
I mean, they had nudity movies, but I think it had to be like, it was like that kind of movie.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
literally stroking like the bishop or whatever, and like
she's choking the.
Yeah, I was like,
choking.
I was like, and they should have had her making dinner, like a chicken dinner, and then she could have been choking the chicken too.
Yeah. Stroking the bishop. Yeah.
I guess I went into this like sort of like got some trivia about the game, and I don't even know how to play chess, but they're like saying that they were both making illegal moves.
Whoa! Yeah. I only know how to play chess from our Iron Man audio comic where he fought the bishop or whatever the hell that was. He's like, "You're standing in the rook." I was like, "Oh, I'm recognizing all this stuff now."
I used to know how to play. I don't remember a lot of it. I know there's that thing that he does. I think where you castle. I think where you like take the king and the bishop and kind of switch them. But I don't know anything. I haven't played chess in many years, so I don't really remember. But I remember the knight can go like an L. It's the only thing I really remember. So here you go. But she's showing a little boob. Like, as you said, the dress is kind of weird and it's very revealing.
Yeah, but it looks like she's got an itchy armpit or something. The way she, it's not sensual. I just thought this was really dragged out, and it wasn't sensual to me. If it was a little shorter, a little more concise, bam, good, get in, get out. But But after 40 minutes of watching her like sticking the chess pieces in her mouth and him humping the chair and all that stuff, I was just like, all right, get it.
It's like something they would make fun of in like Naked Gun or like
yeah, absolutely.
Right, totally.
Austin Powers or something, just like have her like deep throating the bishop or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Deep
would like
throating the fish.
or like chew on it like it was hard candy or something,
Yeah. To crunch it. It is very, I don't know. It's on the nose for many reasons. Not only is it like a substitute for sex, but it's also like, oh, here they are engaged in this chess match. She's trying to catch him and beat him and whatever. Also, so they show a lot of close-ups. Okay, so two things. I'm not gonna obviously Faye Dunaway is beautiful, beautiful. Her hands are a little
Beautiful, some would
wrinkly.
say.
Yeah, too beautiful in your mind. I don't know. I noticed her hands are kind of like wrinkly. Did you happen? I don't know.
I didn't
Hands
notice
look a little, I don't know. I think it's from the smoking or something.
Probably. I just felt like every time I looked at her with her hair pulled back, it just looked like it hurt.
Yeah, maybe.
It just looked like it was pulled back really tight.
Yeah. Also, Thomas Crown's eyebrows are really needs a little trim there. They are growing wild.
Yeah. It was the 60s. Men didn't manscape back then or any of that stuff. They just let it grow.
Yep. Yeah. So anyways, she gets a check and he just stands up. They kiss and they're kind of like, they look like fish. They're kind of like, kind of weird. I don't know. The camera spins around. It's all like technicolory.
I guess the cameraman used a skateboard, and this scene took 8 hours.
All right. That's cool. I mean, I would kiss Faye Dunaway for 8 hours.
I'd kiss Steve McQueen for 8 hours too. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy.
I wouldn't kick my load out of my bed.
It's played much differently in the 99 one. Let's just say that. So anyways, she tells Malone, keep the pressure on. This is like the next day, obviously not like during.
She's like, hold on.
Well, she's having sex with him. Let me call Malone while you're going down on me here. But she says like, I'll squeeze, you'll squeeze. So will he.
We all squeeze, right?
Yeah. Then they go dune buggying for an hour, like you said in the
in a very loud dune buggy.
Yeah, and Malone is out there watching them.
He's sad he wasn't invited.
Yeah, he's like, oh, and he's sitting there with his old ugly secretary. Like, oh, how come you never take me dune buggy?
You only do boogie boarding or whatever.
So they're having breakfast. It looks like Back Bay. I don't know if that was on your list of locations or anything. They're having Malone and Vicky are out. It looks like Back Bay. He's all mad at her again, and he's like, I think I'm like the government is sponsoring a sex orgy or something. Like he's like,
yeah, he's getting all worked up.
I should be invited to this sex orgy because the official government business. I just gotta make sure things up and whatnot.
She does give him a birthday gift, which is very nice, and it says "Think Dirty." It's like a plaque, a plate, like a plate you put in your desk. Think dirty.
I got one of those plates for my birthday. It says, I'm the captain of the Starship Enterprise, you guys.
I saw that.
Newly minted captain. I don't know if you knew that, but it's kind of an important ship.
All right.
Yeah,
it's blown up a few times.
Right? You can only get to like warp 6 or something.
They can barely get to warp.
Not even the good end.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even we don't really even use the transporter for anything other than cargo. But anyways,
I mean,
so this thing I actually kind of like. So there's a bunch of cops watching Thomas Crown, and he goes out, knocks one guy out. The guy's in the car. He's not in the car. He walks up behind him. Sorry, and he bonks him on the head, drags him to his car, throws him in it, and he takes out a flask and pours it all over him. And then he puts the car in neutral and pushes it into a tree. And then the cops all come like, oh, what happened here? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's Danny or something. They're like, oh, Danny.
The Boston version of the Irish cops from your audio comics, too.
Right.
Like, I'm going to read your
from Arsenic and the two cops from Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yeah, the Miranda. That guy has a good Boston accent, too.
Like, oh, Lordy, it's Danny from...
Danny. Oh, we were going to arrest you there, lad.
Oh, Danny, boy, the pipes are falling. Anyway.
Hey, thank you, God, you woke me up. I have to tell you about the second half of my play.
Well, it's not that bad. I'm sorry, this is a different scene. So I think I was getting this confused, but yeah, or maybe not, whatever. But Vicky and Malone, now they're having lunch. I feel like they have a lot of meals together.
This was sponsored by the Boston Restaurant Association. This movie.
Yeah. So now they're out having lunch, and he tells her, "Look, you don't want to know what he did after you left. He went out with another lady." And she looks at the pictures, and she's like, "Her again, dirty old man." He is divorced. They do mention that he is divorced.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think he has a daughter, right?
Yeah, he has a kid of some sex.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't, we don't know.
I can't remember, boy, girl, or something in between.
It could be something in between. So anyway, he mentioned he's building his house on the beach, and he mentioned that earlier, and whatever. They're out there, and she asks if he's ever brought anyone else, and he says his wife, and she didn't like it.
Well, how long have they
I
been
never went.
divorced? Because this house is not very far along in terms of construction.
What if she didn't like it? Like sleeping out here in the outside.
Yeah, as I know we don't have any structure other than this like deck, but that's it.
And he's like, it's like Attack of the Clones. He's like, my wife, she hates sand.
Oh, you know what? I made that joke. Mrs. Elder has no idea what I'm talking about when I make that reference.
It's kind of one of the most famous lines from that movie.
Yeah, but
I say, don't you hate sand to Stacy like once a week?
Maybe I'll start doing that.
She'll get it.
Yeah, she'll get it.
So we got another metaphor here. Not just the chess match wasn't bad enough. Now they're buying fruit. Like back in the 60s, they did this a lot in movies. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a metaphor for sex. Food was always a metaphor for sex.
Yeah, once the 70s and 80s came around, they would just show the sex in the movie. But back then, I guess you had to maneuver around and buy fruit or food or play chess or bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Faneuil Market, though, they still sell fruit down Faneuil Market like that.
That's true.
That's been going on for a really long time. That's a cool little Boston thing.
Yeah, I know it is. If you go there like a Sunday evening, there's just like gross leftover pieces fruit, just
pallets and broken cantaloupes.
Yeah. Anyway, so they actually walk through the cemetery, Mount Auburn. I don't know if that's like a whatever, but they walk through it. I don't know if she's taking him there to try to be like, hey, this is whatever. But the next scene, they're in his steam room.
Oh yeah, it's getting steamy.
Yeah, it's getting steamy. She says she wants him to make a deal. She's like, why don't you just make a deal? You can pay a fine and walk away, kind of thing.
Howie Mandel comes in. Like, you can pick one of
these. Let's make a deal.
You can pick one of these briefcases. Might be immunity. Might be another $2 million.
So they call Malone. He's got a phone in there. It's kind of whatever. As one does.
Well, rich people have phones in every fucking part of their house.
What it's like to be rich. When we bought this house, there were phone jacks in 2 of the 3 bathrooms that we have.
Wow.
My grandfather worked for Bell Atlantic, and that was like the thing that he did was he installed phones in mostly rich people's houses, because they would be like, well, I it's like kind of like a status thing, like, well, I want a phone in the bathroom. And then he would be like, okay, Mr. Steven Tyler or whatever, I'll put one in there for you.
Mr. Steven Tyler.
He literally, I say that because he literally installed multiple phones in Steven Tyler's house.
Wow. Well, anyway, they call Malone and he says, no deals. That's it. I mean, They know he did it. So why would you, whatever. But, we're getting to this kind of no, there's no way out. What is she going to do? Is she going to actually turn him in or what? But now, so they're in bed, and he wants to pull another. In bed. That's how you read a fortune, right? When
you said that fortune cookie style.
Yeah, that's how I always say the phrase. in bed. So he wants to pull another job. But she's like, what? Why do you need another? What do you need? You need more money? And he's like, no, it's not the money. He says, it's me and the system. And then he laughs again, which this one is definitely not. Doesn't really feel appropriate. Well, maybe it is forced. I don't know. Yeah, now it looks like they're on the Charles. Oh, they are on the Charles. It's the Cambridge side, sort of the Memorial Drive area. They're
on the Charles.
Yeah, they're walking on the Charles. Malone and her. And this is when he says he's running a sex orgy.
Harvard Square.
Yeah, they're right outside Harvard Square. Yeah, like they're sitting out there on the beach or whatever. He's like cooking up a lobster. I'm not a big lobster guy. I've never actually seen anyone do this. You're like boiling it right in the fire or something. What is happening here? Does anyone know what's going on?
You can I forget what happens in the movie, but you can cook a lobster by just throwing it on the fire, but most people boil lobsters.
Like, which way is the more cruel way to kill this poor fucking lobster?
No.
Well, they always say like, oh, you can hear it scream, but it's not screaming. It's like the gases and stuff like escaping from the shell when you put like a lobster in boiling water. It's like, it's basically like, it's not like vocalizing, but it is making a noise that sounds like it's screaming in pain.
Oh, I know. Lobsters. It sounds like this.
It does. It sounds exactly like that.
Are you cooking a lobster right now?
We're having lobster tonight.
Depending on the size of the lobster, I mean, it could be higher pitch, lower pitch, but just so like this that.
Yes. This is kind of where it's a little anticlimactic. Yeah, he's like his job is tomorrow. He's like, yep, we're robbing the bank tomorrow.
6 minutes of the movie left, and they cram this in to the very end.
And all with the cutscenes, and they do kind of like, it looks like, I don't know if it's more violent than the first robbery or not. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on.
It's kind of the same, the smoke bombs and everything.
Like, you see people like getting guns pulled on them and like kind of like running like the guys running away from Superman picking up the car in Action Comics. He's like, like, so you see people with like strained looks on their faces, and it's all very quick.
I really thought the plan was to put the money back, but it wasn't, which was disappointing to me. I was like,
I didn't think that at all. I should be a more critical thinker.
Well, you got to figure there's some kind of hook or something here, but I don't know. So he asked her to meet him at the pickup, which is the cemetery. Yeah, she says, "Don't test me." So then they're at the cemetery. They're watching. Malone, he says, all right, like the guy drops it's not Irwin this time. So like someone drops the money in the trash. Malone says, okay, go pick him up. Pick up the driver. They're waiting for Thomas Crown to show up, and there's a funeral.
Malone's getting all antsy. He's like, you're not fucking with me, are you?
And there's the same bell tolling, and Vicky is torn. And Rolls Royce pulls up, and it's like a kid. It's like some kid that got hired, and he gives Vicky. He's like, "Are you Vicky Anderson, sir?" And he gives her a telegram. It says, "Left early. Please come with the money, or you keep the car."
1888, the Old West.
Left early. Stop. Please come with the money, or you keep the car. And then they show him on a plane, and she tears up the telegram and then throws it right on the ground.
There's a trash barrel right there.
That's right.
Stuffed with money. I can't fit this
paper.
Yeah, I know. It'll biodegrade, I guess. So, and that's the end of the movie. That's literally the end of the movie.
Exactly. So that's the end. So, this movie abruptly ended in such a way that I watched the ending multiple times, being like, "Wait, did I miss something?"
I did it. I watched
the last
at least
5 minutes of this thing like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I must have missed something." Nope.
Yeah, I mean, what? So he just wanted to steal the money. Like, he didn't want the money. He just wanted to know that he could steal it. Is that what?
Yeah, it's sort of like when I was saying that when you sell stuff for me on eBay, I'm like, I don't like doing it. It's a pain in the neck. And you're like, but there's the thrill of the sale,
Right. So
That's
he just
him.
wanted to
He's
steal the
just-
money.
It's just he's already has everything he wants, so he's just trying to invent new challenges for himself.
But he doesn't
Imagine-
have Vicky.
Well,
Not yet.
she's
I mean,
not
she
really
could
that
go try to
attractive anyway
find
because
him.
she's so
I
attractive.
guess. I don't know.
He doesn't want her because she's too attractive. I don't know. I mean, I guess what is the message of the movie? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Imagine if his weird thing was like finding weird stuff around the house for Dursin to sell on eBay. Like I bet
That's my thing.
I bet I could. Yeah, I bet I could get Dursin to sell this for $23. This Ring doorbell.
Sure, send me the pictures. It's fine. I mean, it is. I guess the thing is, did he give a shit about her really at all, or
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He liked that she was his equal and she could challenge him.
Right. But now they cannot. I mean, as far as we know, unless she decided to. I guess I got the impression that was the end of it for the two of them. They're not like she's not gonna go find him.
The
right?
way here's my interpretation of it. It's almost like the end of The Dark Knight Rises. She knows that he's like she knows where he is in France or wherever he went, right?
And that coffee shop.
She has the
I had a letter.
Well, and then you ripped up the letter and then threw it in the trash can. That's right there.
And meanwhile, she's throwing away the letter, and you're on a plane to France or wherever you're going.
And like, so she could go try to meet up with him.
She could go try to meet up with you, Master Crap.
I just watched Coogan and Rob Brydon do like a bunch of clips of Michael Caine stuff. There's one where like they're at like they're honoring Michael Caine, and the whole time Michael Caine is like sitting behind them, and he stands up and he's like says something, but yeah,
gentlemen to bed. We leave at dawn. What time is the battle? 9. All right, we leave at 9:30. Well, let's have a breakfast.
She was.
That's one of my favorite bits.
Yes. Oh, 6 yes. Oh, but anyways, that's where I don't think that she's going to in the sequel, Thomas Crown Affair 2 Rises. Thomas Crown Rises. But she knows that she could. Yeah, Vicky Rises, but she could go try to find him and then just like live a luxurious life with him and bring the money or whatever. But I don't know. That's kind of like she could do that, but she's probably not going to.
Yeah, I think you're right, because she is dedicated to her job. She can't just shack up with a criminal,
Well, here's my take on it. She fucks Malone to get back at Crown.
Oh, they're definitely getting it on after he's out of the picture, because I feel like he was always kind of being like, what?
I feel like he would be hate fucking her. I think he's like, I've had it with you.
And she was like,
he was
jealous.
fucking his assistant the whole time.
Oh God. She was like, all right, fine, we can do it.
Get Larry a pad.
But I'm gonna have to put a bag over your head because you're so damn ugly.
Meanwhile, I got to put a bag over her head because she's so damn beautiful.
Hey, yeah.
Thomas Crown Rises, the revenge of Malone's assistant.
That's a straight to video one.
Yeah, no original cast members.
Yeah, with the exception of like the driver there, Irwin. He's the only one that comes. He's the radar.
They even recast Claire, the assistant, even though it's her.
Maybe they make her a little more attractive.
Like, they get Melissa McCarthy to play.
Oh no.
I like our Thomas Crown spin-off show.
This is great.
Yeah, we're really doing it over already.
Yeah, this is a do-over. I haven't even watched the other one yet. All right. Well, what do we? So basically, I think we all agree. Yeah. I mean, it was fine.
It was fine. It was fine.
Do we want to give it grades and all that and final thoughts?
I say.
Hmm?
He's all around, I say.
Probably. I mean, I didn't hate this movie at all. While I was watching it, I was like, okay, and this is what happens, and then they're moving.
Yeah,
and then
the long stretches of nothing burgers, you know?
Nothing.
Which
I just feel like it's exactly what I said before we started recording, and I don't think you heard Clay because you had signed off for a second, but like I realized with about 15 or 20 minutes left in the movie that like, oh, like they're wrapping this up and they haven't even done it. I feel like they haven't even done anything, you know, like it's, there is a lot of dune buggy. I think that is part of the problem when you stream it and you can see like the line at the bottom that tells you like, you know, how much time is left. You're like, oh, okay. I guess we only have to.
I was like, this is the longest 14 minutes of TV I've watched. It's like it's been like an hour and a half, and we still have 14 minutes left of this movie.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had kept track or something.
Still 14 minutes left every time I checked. Then I realized I had left it on pause and I hadn't been actually watching.
But you didn't notice until you didn't notice that you was.
That's why I said watch it at 1.5 speed. But nothing happens in this, and then I had egg on my face. Boy, oh boy, I tell you.
Well, 1.5 speed times pause is still pause, right?
I mean, I remember learning in my like freshman English class about rising action and, you know, like climax and then falling action and all that stuff. And I feel like there's no falling action, you know what I mean? Like the movie pretty much ends. Like at one point I wonder like when it's tomorrow. And then like, they show it in this. I'm like, why didn't you show a robbery or something? I mean, I don't know.
You did get that.
Couldn't something
shot
happen?
I talked earlier,
right?
In the gas canister. You got that. That was new.
Yeah, one good shot of the whole. I mean, that was good. You're right. No, you're right. But it's almost like when they're in Seinfeld when they're pitching their show about nothing, and Jerry's like, well, maybe something happens to you on the way to work, and he's like, no, nothing happens. You know, like it's almost like, oh, so maybe something had happened during this robbery. No, nothing happens. Like he just robs it.
We're going to do a heist movie about nothing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, right? I don't know. It's whatever. But Faye Dunaway is great, and Steve McQueen is even despite the laughing, he's great. Obviously, he looks great. The king of sunglasses are on point.
Yep, absolutely. 3-piece suit, looking good.
Yeah, I mean I like the Boston stuff. Maybe I have a little soft spot for that. Like I said, some of the scenes are fun, like putting the cop in the car with the booze kind of, you know, that's funny, but it doesn't, you know, what does it mean? You know,
it doesn't have any sort of payoff or anything other than it's a slight distraction.
Right. And he's like ahead of him.
Yeah, all he had to do was knock the guy over the head and throw him in the bushes and just keep on his way too. He didn't have to wreck his car and all that stuff.
Well, I think he was wanting to show you that like I'm on to you or whatever, and that he is one step ahead. But at the end, none of it really matters. Like what does it matter? I feel like everybody at the end of this movie is this exactly where they were at the beginning. You know?
Except for Tommy, where he's now in France.
Another
I don't know where he really went. I'm just going to go with Clay's answer of France.
Sure. Ferno Branca. But so I guess, I'm going to go with the just agreeable to the B's all around. It's fine to go off of what Dursin said with the rising action. What like to add to that, but my thing that I thought was sort of missing was a complexity to the robbery and the heist, and like the figuring out there was not really much detective work. Really, it's just like you said, John, like just figured it out in like a 2-minute conversation in the cop's office. And like, I just kind of wanted a little bit more of like cat and mouse or something that wasn't there at all. And that's
totally
why I
get
was
that,
like,
yeah.
that's why at the end of the movie, I was like, that's it. Wait, let me watch the last 5 minutes
Right.
again. That's it. Wait, let me watch the last 5 minutes again. That's it. You know, like
Back and to the left.
yeah, I just kind of, you know, it's fine. And the cinematography is cool. The locations, like you said, Dursin, about the soft spot for the Boston place. I'm like also doing the Leo like pointing at stuff going like that's 55 Federal Street because I was a bike courier downtown, so I know where a lot of these places are from the outside. And there's actually, if you look up, there's like a free online stock photo thing. If you type in like streets of Boston, the shot going down the alley between the two brownstones where they're like walking up, like that is like quintessentially Boston streets. Like I've seen that shot and that picture. It's probably not the same spot, but I've seen that every time. And I've been like, oh, that I kind of know where that is. Like that's in Beacon Hill, you know, like
Yeah.
So that stuff I really did like, but I just story wise, I just wanted there to be a little bit more complexity to it, and not so just
Well,
laid out for everyone.
I think you will get that in the remake instead. And maybe that is what colored my opinion of this movie, is that I kept expecting more of the 99 version. I expected more of that stuff in the original, and it's not there. We'll get there.
Yeah. It is rare when I kind of think a movie should be longer or not necessarily longer, but you know what I mean? When I got to the end, I was like, well, no, we're not done yet. Usually when I get to the end, especially, and I don't mean like I don't enjoy doing this, but when I'm watching a movie for the podcasting, I'm like, okay, I'm done. You know, like, like works in some, you know, in some ways it's like work. So I'm like, okay, good, done. I kind of was like, wait, yeah, I need a little more here. Not necessarily longer because they could have cut out a lot of dune buggying and stuff, but it felt like it was leading somewhere, and it just kind of ended.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward.
Contrast it with Bullet. It's just like, what's going on here? Like, Bullet had like action and cop stuff and car chases, and this didn't have really any of that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching. I haven't seen it in a while. The Pierce Brosnan, Rene Russo one. So
I can't say I've ever even seen it. I don't really know.
I remember seeing it in 1999 and enjoying it quite a bit.
Yes, it's a very good film. I can't remember at the time South Park movie was out, and Thomas Crown was out, and when me and Mrs. Elder went to see them, one of us got ID'd at one movie and one of us got ID'd at the other one. We were in our mid-20s at the time, so.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Isn't that cute? It's well, we'll get there. I don't want to give too much away. I won't have anything to say in the next episode,
but this gets a flat B, no B minus. I mean, what can you ding it for? Really, just kind of like slow pacing and
the story wasn't great, but I mean, B is fine. B is good. It's almost a little too generous.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C.
Oh,
plus. C plus. There you go.
All right. Never mind this B's all around thing.
Well, I said C's all around. So.
Then C plus. I thought you said B. Yeah, I agree with you. Whatever you say, that's what it is.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you want to do. F. Fine.
JD Vance ordering donuts. Whatever makes sense. Whatever makes sense. C plus. That makes sense. Whatever makes sense.
Well, I mean, the grades have become a bit arbitrary anyway, but yeah. It's fun. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the grades.
I know. I just came up with it right now.
It's fun.
I think it's
fun.
Plus.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Check out all of our podcasts. We just put up Arsenic and Old Lace, which was our sort of Halloween episode, as we are in October. And also check out all of our other ones. We did Jaws recently.
Also could be a good horror movie. Sort of Halloween-y thing.
Yeah, they're up at LeaguePodcast.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, YouTube. We have like Vidya versions done by Clay and Ferno, Captain of the Enterprise. Check those out. League Podcast, wherever you are.
Pre-warp society. Pre-prod director.
Wait, what was Excel? Is that what Excelsior was? Was Excelsior?
It was an NX 1000, maybe? I can't remember. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Then they gave it an NCC number, I think, by Star Trek 6. By the time Captain
Then they gave it NC-17.
There's a little bit of chess playing going on there.
Think dirty.
All right. Think dirty. Dirty. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later.
Adios.
Lady fuck.
Pay close heed to my every word.
Well, for one, there's Brett Calhoun, known as the Boy Millionaire. Then there's
Brett Calhoun will do. Too much. Too much. The whirling dervish has nothing on you. Must be Superman. Here! No wonder. No wonder. So wing it.
Superman.
Joker pulls boner of the year.
That's right. Oh. Oh man. Oh. Oh